One, two, 1, 2. So we're going to have these conversations here because, as I think I told you prior, that I'm paying a whopping $19 for this particular account to be able to stream live, and I need to make sure that I'm using it for the purposes. And so anyone who's interested in listening in for some encouragement for whatever your endeavors are is more than welcome to do that. And of course, because of the fact that I need content for other social media platforms, I will be going live later as well. So as those of you who follow me well know, I have a monthly residency here in Chicago at a place called the Charleston. And it is a very cool niche venue, and it's also off the beaten path. So last night we did our monthly session called Booze and Boogie. I work with some very talented and dynamic young people. One of them is my godson. And of course, every time I have interaction with these people, I'm always trying to encourage and inspire any of their movements that are of a positive nature, because me being who I am and having tenure in terms of nightlife, me being who I am and having tenure as a creative person, as well as an independent contractor, says that, I have to lead the children, and that's a part of the process. And I'm blessed to be able to do that for them. So we have this Monday night situation, and mine is monthly. I want to give you the scenario so that you get the opportunity to understand why it is important to be involved in promoting and bringing people into these nightlife spaces. And it's a very simple concept, but for the sake of those who may not understand because they've had their work handed to them, that they work and don't think independently or individually about what they can bring or need to bring to the table to continue to work, I'm going to break this down very specifically. So I have this Monday night monthly. When I started, and my anniversary for this monthly is coming up soon. I think it's April or May. I'll have to check my calendar to make sure. But the idea of it is that I've been there almost a year. I took this risk and I decided. My godson works there, and at the time he was barbacking. Barbacking, of course, as you know, is assisting the bartender, whoever they are. You might, get people water. You might make, grab sodas. You definitely clean up and tidy up the bar behind folks. You go and get alcohol to restock. You go get ice. You clean up the areas and things of that nature during the process of the night, as well as wrapping up at the end. So he started as a barback, and he asked me, did I want to come in and work one of the DJ shifts on a Monday night? And I was initially, and he knows that I do this for a living. I have other endeavors that I do, independent endeavors that I do as well. But this is one of my ways of making money. In addition to the fact that I love DJing, I most certainly am aware of the stream of income that it provides for me as well as others. So, and he's like, it's not really that much money involved, but I think, it'd be cool for us to work together. And I know my godson, and I know his heart. He loves my music. He's a DJ and a producer in his own right. And I know that part of the reason why he is that is because of the time that we spent together during his periods of conception and entering on this planet. And so I was honored. But, and he knew that the rate was low. So I came to the table and I was like, I'm going to create a concept. We're going to rock the concept out. I need all hands on deck to promote it. And I need, we need to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to get the buzz out. And I do understand that there are people who come from a space and a mentality of just working. You go to the job, They tell you what to do. You do what you're supposed to do, and you get a check. As it pertains to nightlife, this is a different ball game now. What we don't want to do is give people the perception that a venue is absolutely responsible for creating and maintaining the draw for the venue. They are absolutely responsible for creating and maintaining the draw for that venue. As an independent contractor, and a lot of people fall under this umbrella of independent contracting. As an independent contractor, bartenders, DJs, musicians, barbacks, managers, I would like to include, because most managers who work at bars and venues and things of that nature may be bartenders at those venues. So we want to include managers. And the bottom line of all of this is the idea that if people don't show up, then there is no money to pay anyone. If people don't come into the bar, there is no money to pay anyone. Every night in a bar, in a venue, is an individual night with an individual number to make. The earlier part of the week, of course, has smaller numbers. The hump day through Saturday and maybe Sunday may have a bigger draw. But conceptually, when you consider that every part of the house that is holding that venue, that is holding those employees, that is hosting those people, has to create a draw and income in order to justify employing those people. Now that we have that understanding, as an independent contractor, in my opinion, no one can afford to sit around and wait for people to show up. Meaning, if your work is dependent on who comes into the space, and you come into a space that is slow, then all hands have to be on deck to bring people into that venue. So, for the sake of the conversation, when I started, because I don't really be interested in sharing my personal business. When I started at that venue, at the Charleston, with my godson and one of his best friends who I know from, I remember when my godson started at that school, and he met these people, and Sarah is one of the people that he met, and Sarah works at the bar with him. So this is like my family, right? And I'm blessed to have been able to have the opportunity to come and plant seeds with my family, because that's what I look at it as. So, her people work at the bar, her people own the bar, so, it makes sense that they would give. No, I don't look at things in that capacity. I cannot look at things in that capacity because I am not privileged. Everything that I have had and that I currently have, the universe has provided me with based on my workings, based on someone paying attention to my doings. As a hairstylist in Chicago, I have always had to create my own draw. My work does that for me. When my work does not do that for me, then I have to go out into spaces and places and generate interest in my work. And I'm saying this to you for a specific reason. Everyone at this point whose check is created and written by people who don't have multiple streams of income, who may only have one endeavor that creates the income for the house, whether they have other endeavors personally, whether they own real estate, whether they own other businesses and companies, whether they work regular jobs. Every branch has to independently create money to justify having it. That means that everyone has to be involved in the process. Either you're in it and you're working and your work creates a draw, or you're in it to help bring in people. At this point, I have to say, I've seen in the last 10 years, I've seen even the alcohol business suffer from the recession. Even the hair business. You thinking, oh, hair, people are always going to need. No, they don't. And if you look at YouTube and you look at Instagram, you see folks doing DIYs. You see people hosting parties at home and having people coming over and serving cocktails. So we're not going to go and say, oh, it's the same industry and people are doing the same things. You're always going to make money. That is not the case. In addition to the fact that we have more DJs, more people doing their own hair, you just have to come to the conclusion that you're owning a brand in those things that you do, and understanding that the one day that people don't walk through that door is the one day you leave with less money. And the goal is not to leave with less money. The goal is to leave every time you're there with more money. So I took the risk, and I will continue to use this as a testimony to why you have to take risks, why you might have to roll up your sleeves and do a little more work, and why you need everyone who is involved in that particular venture to help with the work. So I started. And, I'm just like, okay, cool. This is gas money. And during that process, I talked about to myself, I was just like, this is how this is going to work. You need real estate as a DJ. We have residencies as DJs. Your residencies could be concentrated in one area. The more areas you have residencies in, the more likely people are to recognize you and who you are and your draw overall. So that says if you only have residencies in Bronzeville, then maybe you want to consider gaining more real estate in other parts of the city. So I took it as that. I'm like, you're here, you can build. People need to know that you're still spending somewhere on the north side, that you had a following during your heyday on the north side. So go in and take the opportunity and make sure that you can do what you need to do to let people know that you still have a piece of real estate on the north side and you're prepared to host people who are coming in. So with that in mind, created a concept, started promoting it. And have been consistent about doing that. Again, in January, a few things happened that told me that I was doing the right thing, and that these other DJs and people who had residencies on my Monday night needed to be with me on that. When I started last year, I asked my godson, I said, let's get together with the other DJs who work Monday night, come up with a solid concept, and everyone there promote that night, regardless to whether you're DJing the night or not. Just promote Mondays consistently. My godson, I love him to death. I have the daunting task of being a space cadet as well upon occasion. But when it comes to the idea of this work, I don't space out. My godson spaced out. Last night, one of the DJs who worked on Monday nights comes into the bar after, things started kind of slowing down a bit. He and I were talking, and I asked him, what were you doing? What you doing? When are you spinning again? He's like, I don't know. And I said, why don't you know? And he said, because, they fired everybody else on Monday nights. You're the only one that's here. Do not think for 1 second that I would not have been fired too if I didn't come into that situation a year ago and create a concept and hit the boards with my concept. There would be no DJs on Monday nights. Now I'm the only DJ on Monday night. Why? Because my concept and my risk taking planted the seed, And the seed got me sponsorship. And that sponsorship has retained my services at a better rate than I was working when I first started working at the Charleston. Because my godson did not spread the information to the children on Monday nights, they all got sacrificed. And of course, I have a plan in order to potentially help the Monday night situation. And I'm strategizing to do that as well, because of course I'm there one Monday night a month. If all of the other Monday nights have no draw at all, then people may or may not show up on my Monday night. The entire day every week needs to have a draw. Someone needs to take the risk and create along with me. And that's really what all of this is boiling down to. So I'm going to read to you exactly what I wrote on my wall this morning after having a conversation with my best friend who inspires a lot of my live streams. And, you know, she's an independent contractor of sorts, but our work is different and does not, you know, she has to create somewhat of a draw, but she gets a draw even when the work isn't there. She gets a better draw when they are grabbing clients, but she doesn't have to do the marketing and promoting that I have to do for my endeavors. So I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to get myself together to go live on Facebook, but I needed to leave some content here to have, you know, for those who might be inspired and who need it. Okay, so it says, I remember the days when I could simply show up for DJ work. The venue created and maintained the buzz, and the people flocked. We can talk about other issues working with Joe Russo, Funky Buddha, Sinibar 1 and 2, and The Shrine. But his venues assisted with promo material and created an internal draw for entertainment. Knowing that nightlife and public venues have to have income to pay its employees / independent contractors says all hands on deck. The I'm not a promoter mentality will have everyone, including bartenders, at home looking for instead of creating work and working. Wake up. And I think that says enough. But if you need that encouragement and that inspiration, there it is. The idea is you are an independent contractor. No one is going to simply sit. Now, that's not true, because as a private party or a corporate party might book you and you have to do nothing except for the job that you were asked to do, which could be DJing, which could be, you know, providing sound, which could be, you know, all hands on for that particular venue. When you get outside of there and you get into public spaces where anyone can simply patronize and support the venue and those parties involved, the mentality has to switch. I have a problem not promoting things. Like if you look at my Instagram account, you might be bored to death because I promote all of my endeavors. My music creation requires me to promote my endeavors. These podcasts that I do that draw you into the concept of my brand and what I do require me to promote endeavors. We have tons of angles in social media to draw people to our endeavors. And that is the reason why you don't see some people just doing one thing. Like, oh, was you just a DJ? So she just promotes the DJs. You got comedians who do skits. They tell jokes. They write for other people. Some people do food reviews. Some people do fashion reviews. Some folks take photographs. Some people do video editing. People sing, songwrite, produce, arrange for other folks. There are tons of angles to do everything that you do. So when you walk into a space that's empty, instead of looking at it and going, ain't nobody here, be a pioneer. Look at it as, this is a blank canvas. I can come into this space and promote and create whatever I want it to be. They ain't got no work, so ain't nothing for me to do. Ain't no reason for me to be. Then go home and sit and complain. Complain about the fact that you don't have any DJ work. Complain about the fact that you won't get hired. I looked at the Charleston as a diamond in the rough. Tantrum has had a draw for 9 years. Thank God that I've been a part of that machine. I don't take that for granted, though. Every time I play at Tantrum, I shoot something out into the universe for people to see that I'm there and I'm working, just in case. Renaissance has a bit of a draw, but every time I play at Renaissance, I shoot out a signal just in case. Because every bit of everyone who works there shooting out a signal adds to the possibilities of that draw. In addition to that, if we're all shooting out the same signal together in social media, it has more of a chance of getting seen and having people support it. And that's the way social media works. Either it works because your post got popular on its own, or you were talking about something that other people were talking about and it opened the gates, and that post and that topic and subject started to trend, which created more visibility for whomever was talking about it. That's the reason why you have people coming into social media and talking about popular things, because they get an opportunity to bank in on that popular thing and get visibility. Social media always tweaks itself in its algorithms because they're trying to figure out how to get you to do more, which is painful. They're trying to figure out how to get you to do more in order to get better results. And because of the mere fact that these platforms are free, you have to do a little more so that they work for you, or they won't. So once again, if I have to wrap this up, because, when I woke up this morning, I was kind of angry. I'm not any different than anybody else. It angers me when I work with people who see me. They see you in some capacity. People see you put your work on the board to get other opportunities. People see you promote your endeavors in order to have people purchase the products that you create, but they're not doing that. So I get angry because I'm doing all of the work that I'm doing to help, and these other people going, it's slow tonight, and they looking at you. I'm not the boss. I don't own this place. I own a concept and host a night that this place helps me host. But if I'm the only one shooting the signal out, then I'm the only one that's going to create a draw. In addition to the fact that I'm not the only one who is here. Now, some of y'all work here every Monday and it's slow. So you should be trying to figure out what you can do to add to the pot. Because once again, and then the crazy part about it is, the more people know that you're there at that bar that like you and that can come in and patronize you, the more possibilities that you have to make money. At this point, I can get taxed out. Like, regardless to how many people I bring in the bar, my rate at this point is going to stay the same until I do something else that creates more people. Then I go back and I negotiate more of a draw, which is in line with what I want. So to wrap this up, because I got to get myself together so I can go live on my other platforms. Same subject. You got to get involved. You got to get involved. And it's the season. It's spring. regardless of the temperature. It's spring, and if you're serious about the endeavors, regardless to what they are, music, art, photography, fashion design, if you're just simply supplementing a stream of income for yourself, you got to get involved. The ego has to be put aside. Well, if I'm not DJing, I don't feel like I need to promote the Monday night situation. Well, if you're not DJing, but you're promoting the Monday night situation, and you have a Monday night 1 month of 1 day of the month, then those people who start to consistently come into that bar are probably going to end up coming in on your Monday night and patronizing you and potentially loving what you do and then booking you for other things. The end. I'm sending you cosmic kisses and well wishes to your day and week. It is your girl Fathom DJ, live and direct via Spreaker. If you need encouragement, if you need ideas and concepts, if you just need somebody to talk to help you get the weight off your shoulders, in effort to lift the team, you most certainly can reference me to help get you where you need to be so that you can start to see some light at the end of the tunnel for your projects and what have you. And you can find me in your worldwide webosphere at findingfathomdj.com, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Play, Google Plus, iTunes, TrackSource, Beatport, Juno, Amazon, YouTube, Pinterest. You can find me in your worldwide webosphere if you're looking at hashtag Finding Fathom DJ as well as Fathom DJ space.